So today our mission is to take a whole stack of like fast-moving cultural commentary and really distill it through one very specific lens. We're talking about the lifestyle framework of the Joe Budden Podcast. We are diving deep into episode 866. It's got this perfect title, From One Crash Out to Another.
Yeah, that title, it really nails the mood, doesn't it? Our source material basically gives us a blueprint for how the JBP panel, led by Joe Budden himself, who's this interesting mix, ex-artist, media personality, but also a pretty seasoned culture critic, how they processed a week of just total chaos.
Right, yeah, these rapid-fire rap beefs, new R&B dropping some heavy courtroom headlines. It was a lot.
A lot.
And look, we're not just here to summarize the episode for you. What we really want to do is unpack the Budden persona itself. He filters everything through this unique blend of irreverence, sure, but also his lived industry experience and maybe surprisingly quite a sharp moral critique sometimes. Our goal is really to give you the shortcut, a way to understand how this specific framework tries to balance ethics with entertainment, which isn't always easy.
No, definitely not. And that tension, I think, is actually key to why the show works, especially being so long form. The panel chemistry is crucial, too. It's quick. It's often really funny. Sometimes pretty abrasive, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
But they can pivot, They'll go from these laugh-out-loud jokes straight into some seriously heavy judgment, like in a heartbeat.
And episode 866, it had this really interesting tone, didn't it? Like amused but uneasy. That's how the source described it.
Yeah, that nails it.
You can almost hear Joe watching the cultural car crash happening in real time, right?
Right.
But then immediately, he's questioning the cost of just watching the spectacle.
There's a definite fascination there, almost like a professional interest in how viral these beefs get.
But it clashes instantly with the real life stakes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of his whole philosophy in action, right? Watch the crash, okay, but don't forget to ask what it costs.
Exactly. So let's apply that lens right away. Let's start with maybe the biggest flashpoint the episode tackled, which was the ongoing saga between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
Right.
The sources point out that the sheer daily cadence of posts, the back and forth, it had turned the whole thing into like appointment viewing everywhere.
It was definitely entertaining on the surface level. But, okay, where did the panel draw that ethical line you mentioned?
Well, they drew it pretty hard, actually, and fast. The JBP crew immediately flagged any talk involving kids as just completely beyond the pale.
Okay, so that was the boundary.
Yeah, and they specifically gave props, like offered actual applause for moments where comments were walked back, especially things about fertility or health issues. The mandate from them was really clear. Keep health stuff, keep children completely out of rap arguments, full stop. That's where the entertainment has to stop and the ethics kick in.
What's interesting there, though, is that they didn't just stop at the morality of the comments. They went further, right, into consequences.
Absolutely. Joe's crew, they consistently hammered this point, and it goes way beyond just celebrity beefs, these fights. They rarely stay contained just between the two headliners.
Right. The entourage is the wider circle.
Exactly. They escalate things, which means the real-world consequences, they go way beyond just tweets or Instagram comments.
So it shifts. It goes from just entertainment to actual potential liability.
Precisely.
And if you're using this deep dive as a kind of cultural shortcut, this feels like a key piece of the JBP method.
Yeah.
They always ground the online drama in real-world risk.
Always. They're constantly reminding you, the listener, that consequences can be physical, they can be financial. It's not just about social media fallout.
Okay, so that brings us to their pivot then. Once they establish that kids and health line is totally non-negotiable ethically, where do they go? They needed a safer battleground, right?
Yeah, exactly. They moved the conversation pretty smoothly over to JT's 2 disc records that let them shift the focus back to, safer territory, bars, delivery, technical craft, the actual music.
But the review wasn't exactly glowing, was it? What did the sources say about the critique?
No, it was pretty mixed. The panel observed, apparently, that while, some of JT's lines definitely landed, they had punch. And the energy did ramp up kind of mid-track, effectively. But overall, the execution felt a bit lo-fi or uneven. That was the phrase used.
Lo-fi or uneven.
And that immediately sparked this technical discussion,
Yeah.
about authorship, like who actually wrote what, cadence, and why the tracks had this very distinct mixtape feel.
That phrase mixtape feel is interesting. It feels like a tell, doesn't it? It signals a kind of bias on the panel's part.
Oh, absolutely. What's fascinating is how quickly it triggered this nostalgia in them for the old guard, you know?
Right.
They basically revealed this clear preference for the era when people dissed over familiar beats, you know, established instrumentals, industry beats.
Yeah, freestyling over known tracks.
Exactly. And they argued that just choosing the right beat, that strategic selection, it can amplify a diss way beyond just the technical skill of the lyrics. It gives it a weight, a gravitas that maybe a quickly recorded sort of uneven track might lack.
That's critical, I think, because it sets up a counterpoint. I mean, if the goal now is just rapid-fire impact on social media, maybe that lo-fi feel is actually fine. Maybe it's even better.
That's a great point. But the JBP, they're clearly grading on a different scale. They're thinking about enduring records, tracks that last, not just topics that trend for a day or two.
Right. Which leads perfectly into the core risk they debated next.
Yeah.
Will Nicki or Cardi actually drop a direct name-calling record, like a record?
Yeah, and the panel, they sounded pretty skeptical, according to the sources. They know from experience that just having elite musical talent doesn't automatically mean you can craft a commanding diss track. It's a different skill set. They seemed worried, actually, that the track itself, if it came, might ultimately underwhelm. Especially after weeks and weeks of all this viral online buildup, the expectations are sky high.
And the risk for the artists themselves is huge, too. A direct record, it kind of cements this era's maybe stream-first diss logic. It confirms subliminals are maybe over for now.
True.
But it also really risks deepening those personal, real-life lines. The very lines the podcast was trying to discourage when they set that boundary about health and family earlier.
It's a total tightrope walk. No easy answer there.
No. But, you know, the beauty of the JBP format and how they navigate it is how smoothly they can just shift gears. So from the chaos of the crash outs, they moved on.
Right. They shifted focus to the discipline of pure craft. And this is where that R&B vibe check came into play. They started analyzing Bryson Tiller's new project, Disc 1 of Solace and the Vices.
And again, this wasn't just a simple track review, was it? It sparked something broader.
Definitely. It became this larger cultural conversation about, okay, how does this specific kind of mood-driven R&B fit into a week that's just saturated with breaking news and high-stakes drama?
Does it provide the right counter vibe? Is that what people need right now?
Exactly. And they spent real time talking about album sequencing, why it's so essential for long-term replay value, you know, how the music actually fits the current cultural moment or need.
This feels like Joe's core metric in action. He seems to prioritize that how it feels right now feeling over just chasing algorithms or streaming numbers.
Yeah, he's defining craft itself as culture currency. If the music connects with the current mood, the current vibe, then it holds immense value, regardless of its immediate chart position.
And speaking of craft, that led them into a discussion about Leon Thomas, right?
The crew got into this debate about which current R&B artist Leon Thomas is sort of quietly creating tough competition for.
Quietly being the key word there.
Right. It was a debate that very explicitly prioritized his skills, his penmanship, his studio chops, his technical mastery over just having big celebrity status. Thomas represents that kind of silent competitor who's winning based purely on the merit of his creative output.
It really shows that their lifestyle lens, it doesn't just judge fame or virality, it's also judging sustainability. Like, are you just famous right now, or are you building something that could make you an industry pillar 10 years down the line?
That's exactly the subtext of that Leon Thomas debate, I think. It's about longevity through skill.
Okay, so let's connect that idea, reputation, accountability, longevity, to what you can call the real morality check part of the episode.
Yeah.
This was a classic JBP segment, the funeral attendance debate.
Oh, yeah. This discussion really moved beyond music entirely. It was about the practical application of your personal ethical code in public life. The panel was basically mapping these personal codes onto public figures, asking, when is paying respects at a funeral a genuine obligation, something rooted in your shared history? And when is it just good optics, calculated to maintain your reputation?
It's super nuanced, isn't it? Because you have to consider things like, how close were you? What's the history? What's the state of your current relationship with the deceased's family? It's complicated.
Very. And for you, the listener, the lifestyle takeaway here feels crucial. Reputation, as they see it, is a long game. Whether you choose to publicly show up at something like that, or whether you consciously decide to sit it out, That decision communicates your values, much louder than anything you could say on a record or post online.
It's the weight of public perception, especially within what can be a pretty close-knit industry.
And the JBP uses these moments, these debates, to almost try and establish community standards for behavior. How should high-profile people act in these situations? Which is, frankly, a surprisingly serious role for a podcast often known for jokes and rap analysis.
It really is. Okay, so alongside these deeper dives, the episode was also packed with those rapid-fire culture flashpoints. They really show the panel's wide focus. Let's maybe run through those quick hits.
Sure. First up, there was this surprisingly heartwarming bit about the potential return of Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, that stood out.
It really did. Apparently, it was a rare, unanimous W for the entire panel. Everyone was happy about it. It reinforced this pro-literacy feeling amidst all the other chaos happening that week. Classic education nostalgia, kind of recast for today.
Nice. Then they jump straight from that to baseball.
Yeah, quick notes on the MLB playoffs, just talking about team momentum, who's looking good, who's in form. It's just a little reminder that, yeah, October, baseball still cuts through the noise, even for an audience mostly focused on music and culture stuff.
Keeps things grounded, maybe.
And finally, they touched on the Diddy sentencing narratives, providing some updates there. You could tell the panel was following the court energy, the updates, pretty much in real time.
But carefully, right?
Yeah. Oh, very carefully. Balancing that professional curiosity, which they obviously have, with the necessary caution you need when you're talking about active, ongoing legal situations. They seem to know when to pull back and just report rather than speculate too much.
Okay, so if we try to pull all of this together, synthesize everything we've unpacked from episode 8 and 66, it feels like a perfect encapsulation of the Joe Budden brand, doesn't it?
I think so. It's that deliberate mix. You get the levity, the jokes, the reacting to the chaos, but it's always coupled with these necessary ethical lines in the sand. There's a genuine celebration of music craft, the artistry, but that's set right alongside this willingness to really interrogate clout or fame or behavior whenever it seems to cross those ethical boundaries they've established.
And the method itself, the way they do it, is maybe what makes the whole product work and feel enduring. It's this long-form conversation, right, designed to keep you locked in for like 3+ hours sometimes.
Yeah, and it works because it moves so effectively between the laughs and the limits, between chasing trends and setting principles. The audience is basically watching them establish the moral and cultural edge in real time.
And this, I think, is the key insight we pulled from the source material. The panel's own internal contradictions, the debates among themselves. That's actually the point of the show.
Right. The audience tunes in for that real-time recalibration. Watching them argue, maybe change their minds, recalibrate their stance. That process becomes the JBP product. They allow themselves to be wrong or to evolve their thinking publicly.
And that honesty, I think, is what the long-form audience really values. It feels authentic.
And that kind of brings us full circle, right back to that central tension we started with. We saw the panel debating, okay, what makes a great diss track? Noting that, hey, elite musical talent doesn't always guarantee a knockout punch in that arena.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we saw them constantly grappling with the moral edges of public life, demanding accountability.
So reflecting on all that, we have to leave you with this final kind of provocative question to think about. If this panel, the JBP panel, is constantly debating these moral edges, constantly demanding accountability, and if elite talent doesn't always guarantee a great diss, then what single quality truly defines an enduring piece of cultural commentary today? Is it the perfect beat they talked about? Is it that one killer quotable line that just goes viral everywhere?
Or is it maybe that undeniable moral edge, that sense of principle that the panel itself is always searching for?
Something for you to mull over this week as the culture inevitably keeps spinning.
Stay curious, stay humane, and keep the culture honest.